G'day, and welcome to another HSC Fireside Chat. I'm in the middle of marking some HSC trials at the moment, and I'm sure some of you will be getting those trials back very shortly. So I thought I'd make a video to make sure that the time that I'm spending and your fellow teachers are spending marking and giving feedback on your trials is actually worth the effort. You see, regardless of what mark you get in your trials, they are a very useful tool to ensure that you get a better result in the HSC exams. The way you're going to do this is to not read through the feedback very quickly and then put it away and forget about it, but actually spend some time looking at your exam, your trial exam, regardless of what mark you got, and really thinking about how well you did. Couple of ways you might be able to do this. First of all, actually look at the marking criteria that your teacher has used. Read through your answers and see where your teacher has placed you with the little dot points that you find on that table. For example, if you're sitting there thinking, I have written a detailed response here, but the teacher says it's not detailed enough, well then you might want to go and speak to your teacher and say, where am I missing the detail here? Or perhaps I thought this was a sustained response and the teacher hasn't put it, they've put it down one level. So it's a good opportunity for you to get on the same page as your teacher and to say, where am I? I thought this was good enough for this reason. I thought that this was detailed, or this was sustained, or this was sophisticated language. And it's a really good opportunity for you to get a handle of, okay, here's some areas where I can improve when it comes to answering questions. That's for extended responses. Another good thing to do is to actually read through your response and look at the structure of what you've done. Because you might say, oh, you know, when I'm actually doing a response for a take-home task or in my own time for an assessment task, I make sure I always put a topic sentence at the start of each paragraph, or I make sure at the end of each paragraph I conclude and I explain why that is relevant to the question. But under exam supervisions, under pressure, you kind of forget to do that. So go through and actually look in the introduction. Have I answered the question? Have I provided the criteria I used to provide that evaluation? Have I managed to show the kind of the outline of the 3 or 4 supporting things that I'm going to use to prove that that answer is correct? And then go through each paragraph. Have a look. Have I got a topic sentence for each one of them? Have I got that link there? Is my conclusion clear enough and succinct enough? So that's a helpful exercise to show you, well, when it comes to actually being under a bit of pressure, how do I perform? If your exam had multiple choice, go through the questions that you got right and the questions that you got wrong, and actually write down what topic, what part of the syllabus they're from. See if you can find any kind of hints as to, maybe if it's legal studies, maybe I'm not as good at human rights as I thought I was, or maybe I don't know enough about this area of the law. That can help you out as you look to study for later on. A short response, short answers. Look through, am I using key terminology enough? Actually, ask for your teacher to sit down with you, and they'll want to do this because they've spent some time giving you feedback. Ask to sit down with the exam. Make sure you say to them, I'm not trying to get extra marks here. I'm not here to fight over a half mark here or there. I'm trying to see where I can improve for the next exam. And your teacher would love to sit down with you. Sorry, teachers out there, if that's not the case, but sit down with you and go through it and say, I just felt there wasn't enough detail here, or, you know, your essays often are very weak when it comes to actually supporting evidence, etc., etc. Take a notebook, write down everything they say, look through it again, and say, I can see what they mean here, here, and here. So it's a very kind of helpful way of you making sure that you actually get the most out of your trial exam. You actually say to yourself, I'm going to use this as a helpful measure, marker, for where I am right now, because I want to be that much better when it comes to the actual HSC. Now, there's some of you out there that are going to get back remarks that they're not happy with. That perhaps they thought they were going to do, you thought you were going to do much better than you have. Well, take heart, because you literally have, once you get back those HSC marks, your assessment for the school is done, but you literally have 50% of your marks to go. So now is the time, if you're not happy with your mark, to say to yourself, well, I've only got X number of weeks to go. I'm going to make sure that I improve on this. I'm going to do absolutely everything in my power to make sure that the things that weren't good enough in my trial exam are going to be good enough by the time it comes to the actual HSC, and see your mark just skyrocket when you're kind of compared to everyone else. So there's some helpful hints, hopefully, for you when you get your marks back from your trials. Don't read it quickly once, put it away and forget about it. Actually spend some time looking at your exam and saying to yourself, how can I do better next time? How can I improve this? Use your teachers as a resource, because they can help you out a lot more than you realise. And they have spent a lot of time going through and giving feedback on your answers. So make the most of going back and actually asking them what they meant by this term. Or, how did you mean this, sir? How did you mean this, miss? Etc. Alright, so hopefully that's helped. This has been another HSC Fireside Chat. All the best with preparing for the big exams. Hoping that your trial exams getting back are as non-traumatic experience as possible. Hopefully, Wimbledon Channel has helped you somewhat on this journey. Catch ya.